Did you know there's a village in India where cobras are worshipped like gods and no one has ever been bitten? Or a temple where rats are not only protected but fed every single day? These aren't just stories. They're a living part of life in India. Stick around because what you'll hear today might just make you question everything you thought you knew about myths and traditions.
India is a country where the past and present merge in ways that can leave you speechless. Myths and traditions here are more than stories. They shape lives, decisions, and beliefs, but not everything is as it seems. What's behind these legendary tales? Are they symbolic, spiritual, or based on real events? Today, we're unpacking some of the most extraordinary myths in India, with twists that will keep you thinking long after the video ends. Let's start with a place that seems straight out of a fantasy movie, a village in Karnataka where cobras roam freely and people offer them milk and flowers. Here's the catch: no one gets bitten, not even accidentally. Why? The locals believe the snakes are divine protectors. But is there more to it? Could it be the snakes somehow sense they're safe here? Or is it something else entirely? Next, let's talk about a temple in Rajasthan that might challenge your comfort zone. Karni Mata Temple, famously known as the Rat Temple. Situated in Deshnok, this 600-year-old temple is home to over 25,000 rats. These aren't just any rats. They're considered sacred and referred to as cobras. The rats roam freely, scurrying across the marble floors, and they're cared for by priests and devotees who feed them milk, grains, and sweets daily. The story behind this temple is as fascinating as it is unique. According to legend, Karni Mata, an incarnation of the goddess Durga, was a mystic who lived in the 14th century. One day, a child from her clan passed away. When Karni Mata pleaded with Yama, the god of death, to return the child's life, he initially refused. Determined, she invoked her divine powers, granting the child and all her future devotees rebirth as rats until they could be reborn as humans again. This act cemented the belief that the rats in the temple are the reincarnated souls of her followers, making them sacred and untouchable. But that's not all. Among the thousands of rats, spotting a white rat is considered a blessing of immense good fortune. These white rats are believed to be the manifestation of Karni Mata herself and her family. Now, here's where it gets even more extraordinary. Despite the sheer number of rats, there has never been a reported outbreak of disease from the temple. Even the food nibbled on by the rats, known as prasad, is consumed by devotees without hesitation, as it's considered holy. And if you're wondering about the logical explanation behind this practice, stay with us. It ties into how faith and science coexist in ways you might not expect. Ever heard of stones that float on water? In Rameshwaram, locals point to a connection with the legendary Ramayana. These stones were said to have been used to build a bridge to Lanka, and some are still preserved today. But here's the kicker. Scientists have found a geological explanation for these floating rocks, yet the faith surrounding them remains unshaken. Why do people still believe in the myth when science offers answers? That's coming up. In Uttar Pradesh, a centuries-old banyan tree is said to grant wishes. Villagers tie colorful threads around its branches, believing the tree has the power to fulfill their deepest desires. It sounds almost too magical, but when you hear about the life-changing stories from those who visited, it's hard to dismiss. But what if these stories are part of a larger cultural phenomenon? Let's unpack that next. High in the Himalayas lies Roopkund Lake, filled with hundreds of human skeletons. The chilling part? They've been there for centuries, preserved by the cold. While myths attribute the skeletons to divine punishment, modern research suggests an ancient hailstorm might be responsible. But even with scientific evidence, the local myths surrounding the lake endure, making it one of India's most haunting mysteries.
India's myths aren't just tales. They're a window into how people interpret the world, blending history, spirituality, and science in ways that challenge us to think differently. What's the most fascinating myth or tradition you've heard of? Drop it in the comments, and let's build a collection of the world's most intriguing stories together. And if you want more content like this, don't just watch. Be part of the conversation by subscribing and turning on notifications. The next story might just be about your favorite myth.